Well, the landscape and culture of Tibet and the Himalayas can now be seen right here in Lexington.
Yeah, photographer David Zurick has managed to capture several awe-inspiring images of the region to share with his fellow Kentuckians. And our pal Michael Estime is on the move at the Mill & Max Gallery to check these photos out for himself. And Michael, I had a chance to check out this exhibit, and I'm sure you're just as knocked over as I was.
Yeah, Doug, you were telling me before I left the station that you had a chance to check it out, and it's beautiful, especially if you're a fan of photography, and we'll be introducing you to David here in our next segment. But of course, we got to start off with the man himself. I want to introduce to you Mr. Carl Lindstrom, the curator here at the Mill & Max Contemplative Art Gallery. First off, thank you so much for having us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for coming out. Appreciate you.
Okay, gotta ask this right off the top. Contemplative. You gotta describe to us, what is that and what's the vision behind that?
Okay, well, the Shambhala Center has been very well known for providing meditation and meditation instruction for a long time. But meditation is just one formal way of being mindful in everyday life. Turns out there are hundreds of others, and art is one of those. So the idea behind contemplative art is being present with the process, not just the product. So you don't have to worry about perfection. You don't have to worry about having exactly the product and being, ooh, it's art.
No
you can
pressure
connect with
behind
it. No pressure behind it, exactly. It's about being artful in everyday life. And therefore you get mindful. And wherever you are, whatever it is you're doing can be artful. And it creates a sacred place where you are and what you're doing.
You know, and it also creates a really positive energy. Just coming here, you know, I feel great in here. I just feel like the images that I'm seeing are so inspiring. And I think that kind of all embodies the work that you have here. You guys are relatively new, opened about 2 months ago or so. And, you know, looking behind us here, we're seeing coordinates, and folks are like, wait, what the heck is that? Describe to us what the coordinates here represent.
This is connected to the idea of contemplative art, and that is whatever it is you're doing is mindful if you connect with it. Wherever you are, you can connect with. This is actually the GPS coordinates of the gallery. So those watching right now are actually kind of getting the secret behind the title of the show. And that tells you when you come in here, into this space, no matter what kind of art you're doing, whether it's performance art, music, dance, a salon, or photography, visual art like this is a sacred space. And wherever you are at any time can be a sacred space, and whatever you're doing at any time can be artful.
Absolutely. And again, there's just so much to get to here, so I cannot wait until we can show our viewers all of David's work. I mean, it's very impressive. He traveled to literally the Himalayas, and had a chance to interact with the folks there, interact with the environment. You were saying before that, you know, the Shambhala Center, really almost a place to find your peace and to, you know, find your center. And when you see these photos that he shot, you'll know exactly why his photos are being displayed here. So really looking forward to that here in the next coming segment. But again, thank you so much for inviting us in. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for coming out. And we got a gallery hop tonight, so everybody can come to Gallery Hop and see the show.
Oh, you know, looking forward to that. So if you're, you know, putting together those weekend plans, certainly something to look forward to, and we'll talk about that in our third segment as well. Want to jump outside and show you what things look like with a live look now at Viper 8. We are going to be speaking with David, and here's the thing, literally, listen to this achievement, by the way. The Mount Everest Award for Lifetime Achievement. We'll be showcasing his photography for you coming up in our next segment. Doug and Lauren, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous complex. We're at the Mill & Max Contemplative Art Gallery. If you're wondering where it is, by the way, it's right off of Maxwell, a.k.a. that's the reason why Max is in the name, in Mill Street here in downtown Lexington. Guys, back it over to you.
All right,
Easy
Michael.
to find then.
Appreciate that.
Just look for the name.
Yeah, right
and
across
the streets.
from Dudley Square.
Okay, yeah. Know right where that is.
Very well.
Okay.
Enjoy, Michael. Thank you.
Good morning, so good to see you with us right here on your TGI Friday. Yes, it's your first day of spring, and if you are a fan of the arts, I need your 100% undivided attention. You're joining us live this morning in Lexington at the Mill & Max Contemplative Art Gallery, and whose work is being featured right now? Dr. David Zurick. This is just incredible. If you've ever been perhaps a fan of Asia and exploring the Tibetan region, you've got to come out here and visit it. Your work is gorgeous. David, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
You know, and the photographs that you have here on the wall are, you know, not only are they beautiful in and of themselves, but they really just, for me, they invoke a lot of inspiration looking at that. And I know that one thing that you're trying to focus on is the sacred geography of the region. Tell me more.
The photographs that are in this show come from a 10-year project that I was working on between 2004 and 2014, where I was moving through a world that I was very familiar with as a geographer. I'd been working in the Himalaya for several decades, empirically as a scientist, but moving through a world that really exists in the human consciousness. Spiritual landscapes, sacred sites of various sorts, temples, monasteries, sources of rivers, caves, and I had been aware of those places throughout my professional life and through my adventures and travels in the Himalaya. But in this project, I was interested in evoking rather than explaining those kind of places, so I used the camera as my tool to create a sort of a visual language.
Absolutely.
So the images that are coming out of that project, a certain number of them are the images that are in the show here.
And you know what, again, they are gorgeous. And I want to go ahead and talk about that camera, by the way, because this is, as you were just saying, was the visual language that you use. This camera, by the way, is gorgeous in and of itself. Tell me a little bit more about this.
This is very old school photography. It's a 4x5 camera, so it's a film camera. It's an old, actually what it is an old press photographer's camera. I used that particular kind of camera because it collapses small, it's relatively light. The weight of carrying a tripod and a camera around the mountains can be a little bit formidable.
A little bit, difficult at times, so you want something compact. And I want to make sure that we save time for this as well, because your photography to me is really what grips people. It certainly gripped me when I walked in. Tell me what we're looking at here.
The image, the large image in the middle, is a temple in the Western Himalaya in India. It's a temple called Shanti Stupa, which means peace pagoda, and it sits above the Indus Valley. It overlooks actually a contested landscape. Pakistan, India, and China have all fought wars over this landscape, so it's a very appropriate place for this type of temple.
It's so interesting to me because it's such a beautiful picture, but there's been so much hardship there.
Exactly, so you get this juxtaposition.
Exactly, and you know what, I want to make sure that we mention this as well, because all of this is themed, and you'll notice that on the upper right here, there's a photographer, or there's an image there of the 7 monks. However, on the other side of the photo is another image of 7 gentlemen. Tell me about that juxtaposition. We have about 30 seconds.
Alrighty, the photograph of the gentlemen, well, there's 7 in each case, but one of them is a group of young men in Kathmandu who go to a temple each morning before they get on with the day, either going to school or going to work, and they do a circumambulation, kind of a ritual walk around the temple. So they're, in a sense, observing and practicing their faith in Kathmandu. The other group are a group of similarly aged young men in eastern Tibet who have chosen to really devote their entire life to monastic study. It's a monastery in eastern Tibet.
Wow, you know, and again, we are just now scratching the surface with all of this. Again, we want you to come on out to the Mill and Max Art Gallery right off of Mill and Maxwell Street here in Lexington. This plus so much more, and of course, when we come back, not only will we be talking about some of the exhibits that are taking place later on this evening, but there's so much more in here. We're diving into all of that in about 45 minutes or so. Guys, back over to you.
All right, Michael, appreciate that. Wow, an amazing display there. Very, very cool.
Very impressive. And yeah, Doug and I were just talking about how there's something about film, especially from an old camera. It just adds a richness to those photographs that you just don't get from digital photography.
Texture and depth that we just can't replicate.
And just
with digital.
you know, process of developing it yourself and exposing it yourself in the darkroom. It just adds an extra layer.
Very cool.
Anyway.
Great opportunity for folks in Lexington and Central Kentucky to see a true form of art, of photography as art.
Yeah,
Very cool.
absolutely.
Well.
to see you with us right here on a Friday. You are joining us live this morning at the Mill and Max Art Gallery. Joined this morning, of course, by Mr. Carl Lindstrom, the curator here of the gallery. Lots going on. I'm so excited to get folks out here. What's going on this evening?
We're going to be part of Gallery Hop, and we're going to be open late till 9 o'clock. We're going to have heavy refreshments. We hope everybody can come out and kind of cap off their evening if they don't come out earlier.
What are the times that you're going to be open and all?
Starts at 5 and we end at 9, so it's going to be great.
Nice. And so if there's a couple of teachers watching, how can they get a couple of perhaps like school groups out to actually like experience this for themselves?
That'd be fantastic. We're a nonprofit gallery. We have an educational goal, so please go to the website, and there's a form you can fill out, and there's also contact information. We'd love to have educational groups, community groups, clubs, retirement groups come in and get educated about contemplative art.
And not just that, but we were talking about this before, where you really want to open this up so that everyone, perhaps even aspiring artists, can showcase their work. If someone's watching us, say from Lexington, and they have a thing and a niche for art and contemplative art, how can they reach out to you to perhaps even be a part of a gallery hop or showcase some of their work?
It's a great question. So contemplative art is just one aspect of art. We cover the entire spectrum. So anybody who does any kind of art culture can go to the website, look at the submission form. We've got our hours on the website, millandmaxgallery.com, and check it out.
And lots of folks, of course, also familiar with the fact that the Shambhala Center is known for meditation. Tell me about the marriage between the two and how folks can also become involved with that.
Well, we're sitting here at our meditation station, which is a great way to remind folks that they can be present with the art, even as visual art like this, right? And a big part of contemplative art is focusing on the process, not just the product. So you don't have to do things perfectly. You want to be involved with artfulness in everyday life. You want to marry mindfulness, and you want to marry contemplation and uplifted society. And so when you come to or want to have an event at the Mill and Max Gallery, it can be almost anything as long as it is mindful and as long as it is connecting people, the artist, and the audience into being mindful and being present.
One thing that I love, and I'm not sure if you've been out to Eastern Kentucky before, to like Natural Bridge State Park, but for me, it's like one of those deals where I go out there and it's my place to kind of find my peace, as I like to say. And it's almost like a meditative state for me. And here, with literally with the Himalayas in the background, you're able to do the same thing, and that's exactly what you're going for. So tell me about hours, locations, how we can get folks down here, and if there's a cost involved.
Well, there's no cost involved. We are a nonprofit facility. We're open on the weekends, Friday nights, Saturday afternoons. We even have a lunch we do on Wednesdays, so you can come out for have an art lunch on Wednesdays between 11 and 1.
I like that.
Yeah. And our hours are going to be posted generally on our website. We're pretty new, right? And this is all kind of a bit of experiment. We're trying to bring contemplative arts to Lexington. So, check out our website, and it'll be updated with activities and hours.
You know what? Looking forward to it. I'm going to be bringing Doug and Lauren down here soon, too. I'm loving what we're doing here. Thank you so much for joining us this morning,
Michael.
and letting us come on in and just check out everything that you have going on here. We certainly appreciate it. Doug and Lauren, again, we're live here at the Mill and Max Art Gallery. Having a great time. I want to invite you guys to come on down, maybe on your lunch break.
All right, Michael, appreciate that.
Yeah, the art lunch sounds really nice.
A little meditation station
I
there.
know. We could all use that. Just take a second and reflect.